Hi, and welcome to another episode of Badger Nerdworks. We watched a movie. Today we watched Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm Brandon, this is Finn, and this is Finn's first time seeing this movie.
Yep.
What was your first impression?
I liked it. I mean, obviously it's a really well-crafted film. James Gunn, who is for one, a Troma Films alum. He also did the movie Slither. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, with, right. Can't remember that actor's name right now. At any rate, Nathan Fillion. He obviously crafted a well-made, well-paced film. You know, I like the sci-fi aspect of it. I like that they are opening up. Kind of after the little bit of intergalactic kind of idea that you get from Thor, they're kind of opening up more and expanding it more for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, bringing more of the space.
Absolutely, and I agree. James Gunn did a great job of taking a movie that's job was really massive because it's the first time we've seen the greater Marvel universe and all of it interacting with one another, and he really made it entertaining. Yeah. Like you could have gone bogged down in technical this and that.
Yeah, and the minutia of just introducing all of these other concepts.
Yeah, the locations alone, were really overwhelming. You go to like dead planets, an awesome flying celestial skull that they've made a city inside, nowhere.
Yeah.
It's really beautifully realized. I think this as a franchise was one of those franchises that was slightly less well known, and I think one of the things this movie does fantastically is it takes these really complicated characters and gives you a sense of who they are and what they're about very fast in a very concrete way that's all involved in the storytelling.
Well, and he also
so it doesn't feel like
he's also he's a good craftsman. Like that's one thing I'll say about James Gunn as a director is he is an excellent craftsman because he does he sticks to that common old rule of filmmaking, which is show it, don't tell it.
Absolutely.
And he very much. I mean, I think you had said this before we started watching the movie. You had mentioned that you and your wife had caught it on TV at some point and like kind of gotten or at least she had gotten halfway through, or like she wasn't.
Yeah, she just saw it for like a few minutes.
Halfway in, right? And but you saw enough of those characters and their physicality and the way that they acted with the other characters that you knew who they were. Now, mind you, they're not dealing with Shakespearean concepts necessarily here.
These are big overarching.
They're kind of they are kind of archetypical,
and they're obvious in their physical things because what are we really talking about here? We're
but
talking
he does
about
a very good job of using that.
Yeah. The visual image of this group is very different. You have like a raccoon who's very small, very small and real clever. You have this tree that's just massive and dumb.
Yeah.
It's smart the way you think a tree would be smart, you know?
Yeah.
And then Drax is a big blue guy. There's a green chick. The only one of them that's like, you're like, oh, that's a relatable character is Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Right? Which they do
Holy
so
crap.
funny. Like,
can I just talk real quick about the fact that movie like starts off just punching you in the feel button?
Yeah.
Like right off the bat, they're just like, hey, and by the way, small child with a mother who's dying of cancer, try not to cry. A lot of people will talk about the Stan Lee cameo in it. He played the Zendarian Ladies Man, which is literally his credit title. That's literally the name of that character, Zendarian Ladies Man. But I want to talk about a probably lesser recognized cameo that was in that movie when they're first bringing him into the prison and on that prison planet or whatever, and they're bringing him in, and all those like prisoners are losing their crap on the balcony and like and screaming and everything. There's one little Jewish man right there in the middle, Lloyd Kaufman, the head of Troma Films, and he makes an appearance as one of the like rioting crazy prisoners.
The extras in this movie are fantastic.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that sells it, because this movie has about 80% more CGI than I usually like in a film.
Right.
But I think he really smartly did like a lot of the extras as real practical effects.
Yeah.
So when they're walking down the street, it might be an imaginary city, but the people on the street, the weird aliens, are physical. They're real. They're really interacting with them.
I realized watching this movie that, okay, having now watched this movie and having watched Suicide Squad when it came out, they were trying to rip that movie off. It's like every time Marvel does something and they're slightly successful at it, DC goes, well, maybe if we did that, that'll work.
Well,
and it's like DC, what you're not understanding here is that what they're doing has less to do with the minutia of and the bells and whistles that are going on with the movies, and more to do with what we were talking about before of just good, solid storytelling. You know, and the fact that, like we were saying, James Gunn was able to go and take you from moments of really high drama, you know, and some really gripping moments to some high action, to
really
comedy,
funny stuff, really good
right,
comedy.
yeah,
I think one of the
solid
things
comedy.
that this movie did so much better than I felt like Suicide wanted to be funny, but the laughs just weren't coming.
It was
you
like
were
that, it's like that kid. It's like that kid that's really trying to get that joke to be funny.
Yeah,
and he just kind of sits there
it
for
almost
a little
feels
bit
so
after he says the
desperate.
punchline.
It
Yeah,
makes you feel gross at the end of the joke. Whereas this movie, it felt like the funny stuff just was an organic reality.
Right.
Like
it was part of what was going on.
Yeah, and like there'll be setups to jokes, and they let it like grow. There's a whole thing with like Rocket not needing all the stuff that he requires for his plans.
Yeah, the leg and the guy with the eye.
And it catches you off guard in the middle of an action sequence, and it just alleviates the stress, and you're like, oh, that's funny.
Hilarious.
That's that character.
And
like you said, it's character building.
And it's right.
It's
character
funny.
Building.
There is high drama going on. They're in real danger, and like DC, like it tries to do all the same things, but for some reason their movies it's flatter. It doesn't it doesn't translate
because they're not serving the story. They're thinking that, okay, well, if I put a few gimmicks that are similar to what Marvel's doing into my films, then I'm going to have success. And that's not the lesson that needs to be learned from what Marvel's cinematic universe is doing right now. What Disney and what those guys are doing over there is telling good stories.
I feel like DC expects you to be impressed because they have Batman or Superman on screen.
Right.
Like you have a character they like.
Did something that was similar
they were
to
able
Marvel.
to do this movie with characters most people don't even know.
Yeah,
They're incredibly obscure, even for someone who really likes Marvel. These are obscure characters.
It goes back to the fact that they were telling a good story.
Yeah,
and they were, and it was well paced and it was interesting.
Yeah, so this movie by James Gunn, it really delivered on everything we were expecting from a Marvel movie. I feel like it's a real success as a film. I feel like James Gunn had a clear vision, and he knew how to deliver. Thanks for coming to We Watched a Movie. You had a good time. Be sure you comment, like, and subscribe. We also have other videos. Just check them out. So, I'm Brandon. This is Finn. It's nice seeing you guys.